is News Talk 1590 KVTA. I am Lyn Fairly, and this is the Lyn Fairly and Fabulous Friends Show. I'm very excited because I've got two really amazing women on my show today. If you've never heard my show, it's varied. It's really wildly varied because I have often, if not always, live guests in studio telling their stories. We have a wonderful, wonderful story from both of these women. One of the women here actually paved the way for the other woman to do what she does. So later on in the show, you'll be hearing from Elinor Otto, who is an original Rosie the Riveter, still working at the Boeing plant down in Long Beach. That's right, a real Rosie the Riveter. Now, she's the one who paved the way for Mary Anne Rooney, who is here, and she's on first, and we're going to introduce her with this song.
Awesome.
Take all of your wasted honor, every little past frustration. Take all of your so-called problems, better put them in quotations. Say what you need to say, say what you need to say.
And that's what we're going to do here today. We're going to say what we need to say. I love that song. Why did you pick that one, Mary Anne?
You know, I think that people just need to be very genuine with themselves and just put it out there and just really say what you need to say. I mean, that's what Elinor did, and that's why she paved the way for a lot of us today. So.
That's right, Elinor. You have always said what you needed to say, I believe.
Oh, yes, I have. And I've always been a very independent lady. Sometimes it doesn't work too good, but I'm just independent because I'm used to working since I was 7 or 8 years old, helping, doing things for my mom and things. And I'm just a physical person. I like to keep busy physically and mentally.
She's 94 years old, and we're
94.
going to tell your story in the second half of the show, but we did want you to introduce yourself, and we do want to welcome you here on the Lyn Fairly and Friends Show.
Thank you so much for caring about it.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. This is just a pleasure, and it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Now, this whippersnapper here, Mary Anne, is about, less than half your age, I think. We're not going to say. And she is the Vice President of the Board of Harbor Commissioners for the Port of Hueneme, located here in the USA. In 2010, she was elected as the first female harbor commissioner, see what we mean by paving the way, for the port, and has become a strong advocate on our behalf. She is the second vice president in the Association of Pacific Ports, a member of the Economic Development Committee for the American Association of Port Authorities, a board member of the World Affairs Council, California Central Coast Chapter, vice president of the Ventura County Special Districts Association, and president of the Oxnard, Ocotlan Sister City Committee. That must be in Mexico.
It is.
Earned a master's degree from Azusa Pacific University, bachelor's from UCSB, a certificate in mediation and negotiation, and is a certified global business pro. Ms. Rooney is a strategic business consultant located in Oxnard, California, and works with the Economic Development Collaborative in Ventura County, the Small Business Development Center, and private clients. Do you have a website?
I do, maryannerooney.net.
All right, you can find a lot of that there. Boy, you are a busy girl. Oh, my goodness.
But I have to. I mean, that's the way it is. You stay busy, and life is too short to be wasting time.
There you go. See? Boy, cut from the same cloth nearly, I think, here. So aren't you proud, Elinor Otto, that you have a young lady here who's the first ever to be a commissioner
Isn't
of
that
a
wonderful?
port? Oh, it's remarkable.
That is just remarkable.
Truly.
That the women are being able to do all these great things that they didn't think we could do.
I know.
And now we proved ourselves,
Absolutely.
and it's just wonderful. I mean, I'm glad I had a start in it.
You kick-started the whole program, darling. All right, let's tell you a little bit about the port. Port of Hueneme began 71 years ago with a mission to provide California's Central Coast agriculture community with an ocean link to the global market. Located approximately 60 miles northwest of Los Angeles in Ventura County, it became known as the port the farmers built. That's cute. Did you know that, Mary Anne? It's
Yeah.
the port the farmers built.
Absolutely.
I think you've got bananas and mangoes and coconuts and all kinds of exotic fruits coming through there, fresh cut flowers, avocados, and a whole bunch of cars, right? And I think that port's been built because you have the first and largest cooler facility, as well as the accommodation, or rather, you would be able to say the correct word for all those giant car containers to come in from all over the world and bring the cars in. And it's the second deepest port in California.
It's the only deep water port between Los Angeles and San Francisco.
The only deep water port. No wonder we're getting them all. And then we have the rail system that connects to the port that bring the cars in. Okay. Absolutely amazing. And if you ever want to see something cool, go to Google Earth and Google Earth that port, because it's absolutely magnificent and it's just mind-boggling, and I really want a tour.
Yeah, well, come on out. We'd love to have you, and anybody can come out. Just contact our administration and schedule a tour. We can handle about 30 people at one time.
Oh, that'd be fun.
But it's really fascinating because a lot of people don't know what goes on at the end of the street there. And, you know, there's $7 billion of cargo flows through that port every year.
$7 billion. And this year alone, $13.7 million of revenue.
You know, our customers are doing an amazing job. We're a landlord port, so we own the property and we own the rail, but it's really our customers that are bringing the volume of produce through. You know, we have Chiquita, Del Monte, we import BMWs, Hyundais, Kias,
and
Volvo, you name it.
Maseratis. I saw a Maserati come off that ship on the the front page there. That was wow.
And Rolls Royce comes in. So I mean, a lot of cars come through. Over 200,000 cars every year. So there's a lot of benefit to our region. You know, we contribute about $1 billion of economic activity here and create 9,400 jobs just through the cargo that our customers are bringing in. So we're very proud of that.
Very, very remarkable. Very.
Absolutely.
And she has stacks of paperwork and pie charts and an iPad in front of her. We're talking about prepared. I think this will be the Mary Anne Rooney show, the rest of this. I'm going to sit down and let you talk.
Well, great. You know, the Port of Hueneme really has, our cargo has been up. As I said, our customers have done an amazing job. We bring in enough bananas to go around the world 12 and a half times.
Can you picture that?
I know it. So it works out great. You know, I mean, it's a small port. We share the water with the Navy base, and so we're good partners there and have a strong relationship and want to continue that on. Our goal is to grow the port, to create more jobs here for our region, to put more money back into the economy, and do that through effective leadership of the port.
And that's you, my dear. How do you grow a port that's already so enormous? What do you mean by grow it? Which direction?
Well, our port has gone through some leadership priorities, and we've established those. Our priorities is that we support the economic vitality of the region, work on some marketing of the port, concentrate on environmental stewardship, and be innovative and creative and build strategic partnerships. So that's the board priorities here for the port. And so we've gone through a strategic planning process and looking at all of those things, and then really actively decide which areas are we going to go out after and see how we can grow those segments and bring all of that revenue and the customers here in order to create the jobs and create the revenue and create that great impact here in the county.
How would you like it if Journey and I came out and did a little documentary on it?
It'd be great. I mean, it's as I said, up until the last few years, a lot of people didn't know about what was going on at the port, and a lot of people have connections to the port prior to 9/11, and they used to fish out there and they used to walk around. Can't do that anymore. You have to have a card to get on the port, but there's a lot of connections to people here, you know, that have been around for a long time. A lot of folks that are new to the area are unfamiliar about what happens in that small area. I mean, we only have 128 acres that we can lay down out there at the port. So
and then miles of ocean water.
There's a lot of water out there, but once we need to get the vessels in here and get them moving and get the cargo through and out through the port gates.
Who's out there directing traffic? Is there somebody out there saying, okay, you're next, and they line up and they all know, or do they talk to each other? How does that work when you get these big container ships in there so safely docked, and then they're moored, unpacked, packed, and then they go out again?
The nice thing is that we're a niche port, so we have just a handful of customers that do an amazing amount of work.
I see.
And so, unlike the larger ports like LA and Long Beach, we're able to guarantee a berth spot for them. So our agreement with them says, when you're out there in the water and you're coming in, you can pull into your parking spot once you get here. So we've guaranteed that to them. And that's where the port needs to work very closely with our customers to establish good practices and procedures in order to keep those customers here, because they're being groomed by by other ports that would love to have their business. So operating as the harbor district, working in connection with our customers and building that strong relationship and holding on to that partnership is key.
Very key. So who is in charge of that type of communication? Is that you? Is that
Nope.
also you?
Not me. My position as a commissioner is a policy-making role. So we look at policy oversight for the vision and the strategic direction of the port. We have an incredible staff and team in place. We have our first female executive director that has come on board, that she moved across the country from the New Bedford, Massachusetts area. She's doing an amazing job. And she is working with her team on how you make everything happen and put that all together. So we've got an amazing team of administrative folks and our maintenance crew and our wharfingers who are really out on the front line, out on the water. And everybody works really well together, and that shows in the best revenues ever.
It truly does.
Yeah.
So you'll be hiring, I guess, as you expand, and what type, in all areas? Are you going to be hiring just about in every level, or mainly, did you call them
Wharfingers.
Wharfingers?
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know what a wharfinger
Yeah,
is.
what is a wharfinger?
You know, it's the crew that ensures the vessel to come in, to make sure that they dock properly, to make sure all the policies and procedures are followed. It's a funny name, but it's an integral part in the puzzle that's played here. It's something that the Harbor District only has about 25 employees, but yet it's our customers, it's the truck drivers, it's the stevedore company that hires the labor, the longshoremen, the engineers, the teamsters. I mean, all of these groups are working together to take all that cargo and bring it through effectively and efficiently and out to the market.
I think there's an amazing little slogan. I think you say, we make cargo move.
We make cargo move. I mean, we are small, but we are mighty, and we make it move. And it's all about velocity. You know, that you have to make the cargo move quickly. It's kind of like a restaurant. You know, if you're going to make money at a restaurant, you turn the table, right? And so the same thing happens at the port. You need to come in, you need to unload efficiently and effectively, and out you go. And the quicker you can move that cargo, the better it is. And so if you have a vessel that's sitting offshore, you know, that's costing them $25,000 a day.
A day.
And so
just to sit there?
That's just to sit there. And so if you're parking them offshore, they're not unloading, and that cargo is aging as you go along too. So it's another day or two or three before it gets to the market.
Oh dear, you
Yeah.
got a lot of rotten bananas.
A lot of rotten bananas.
What do you
so,
do with all the
yeah.
rotten bananas?
Yeah, well, we don't have to worry about that. That's down the line anyway. So
Fertilizer. I think you're also one of the largest ports that has an area or a special way of handling fertilizer.
we have a great customer in Yara, and they bring the liquid fertilizer. It's non-hazardous, non-flammable, so it's not going to harm our area. Since we are a large agricultural community here in the county, that liquid fertilizer is used here for a lot of the crops that we grow here in Ventura County. And so we have our local ag producers who utilize that fertilizer. But it comes in from Norway, and it's pumped into some tanks that we have out on the port and then distributed out through the county. So, you know, it's interesting because we've got the liquid fertilizer. We have squid. We're one of the largest producers of the squid market around here. So they come in, they offload the squid. Ironically, they flash freeze it, send it over to China for processing, and then come it back packaged. So it's a long way for the squid to be going anyway.
We need to be doing that here.
Yeah, well, it's about economics and making it move. So, that's where we're creating a lot of jobs and businesses and supporting them. We're not doing the direct work as the Harbor District, but all of these companies that we have that are affiliated with us, they go all over the world. I mean, all these customers that we have, they're tugboat companies, they're crane companies. Our customers, are in Canada, Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Ecuador. And then, we're Norway, Great Britain, Germany, Portugal, Spain, Austria. I mean, they're all over in Russia and Indonesia. So this little port here, that's why we say we make cargo move, is because we are all over the world. And a lot of people don't know that and recognize that. And the beauty about all of this is that we're creating, $1 billion of economic activity here in our community. 9,400 jobs that we're helping to create here. And we do all of that with no tax revenue.
That's remarkable.
No taxpayer dollars are coming in to support this port. They never have. And our goal is to keep it that way and that it's all generated through our customer, through revenue.
Oh, I'm very excited about making this documentary. I also can hear all the different languages that must be spoken down there at the wharf in my head. That's got to be neat, a little sort of microcosm of the whole world, all these people.
It is, and it's kind
around.
of weird because we have a lot of different agencies that we need to work with. So, I mean, when you talk about different languages, then my brain automatically went to Customs and Border Protection because people are not allowed to step foot off of their vessel until they're cleared. They have a clearance, they have an escort, the security is very high at the port. And so, we have Customs and Border Protection, we have Homeland Security, the U.S. Navy, the Army Corps of Engineers, the Coast Guard. It goes on and on and on of the relationships that we have. It's not just the Port of Hueneme sitting out there in a little part of the county. It's this global interaction and collaboration that we have. So building strategic partnerships, maintaining those relationships is really crucial to what we do and to allow our customers to do the business that they do.
That's so amazing when you think of Little Port Hueneme being this actual, really like sort of a big world instead of a little port.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, people just don't know about it. So
well, let's make sure we that's partly why you're on the radio today.
There you go. Thank you.
And let's make sure we get that out all over as many places as we can do.
Thank you.
Now, because it is one of the most productive and efficient commercial trade gateways for the niche cargo on the West Coast, the port's governed by 5 locally elected port commissioners.
That'd be us.
That would be you.
Yep.
The port moves $7 billion in goods each year and consistently ranks among the top 10 U.S. ports for automobiles and fresh produce. We said that. Port operations support the community by bringing in $1 billion in economic activity and creating the jobs you just mentioned. Trade through the Port of Hueneme generates more than $63 million in annual state and local taxes, so you pay your taxes, never mind that you don't use them, which funds vital community services. How about that? So you are a real specialist because you've been involved with the World Affairs Council at the local level for several years, and in fact, you developed something very interesting to me. I took note of this because I thought it was remarkable that you created an you were the program director, designer and developer of the Global Entrepreneur Training and Trade Programs.
Right.
I think that was pretty amazing. Why did you think of that, and what's that about?
Well, it was back in 2008 when I recognized in Ventura County that we have a great opportunity to connect businesses to the global marketplace. The training wasn't there in order to work with small businesses and large businesses for that matter, but to work with our business community to train them on how to do international trade. And so there was a gap. And so I wanted to fill that gap in providing the resources and the information to businesses so they would look outside of Ventura County. We have 900 manufacturers in Ventura County, and so most of the consumers are outside of the United States. So why not provide the tools and the information to the business owners to allow them to go and reach out to the global marketplace? It just kind of was a natural fit with the port because it's the port is the international connection here in Ventura County, not Long Beach and LA. So it made sense that the port was kind of the keeper of international trade and connect those two together. And so there was a natural synergy that I felt that why not get the port involved and become, a part of that too and bring it all in.
Okay. Spence, we had a caller?
We have a question here, and it is Rockin' Robin on the line.
Rockin' Robin, where are you calling from, Rockin' Robin?
I'm actually calling from Port Hueneme.
Oh, calling from Port Hueneme. Terrific. Spence and I are the ones that can hear the call. So who's the question for?
The commissioner.
The commissioner. Here, you're going to tell me the question, and I'll repeat it.
Okay, I'd like to ask her, I know they have helped out the city of Port Hueneme with canine dogs for the police department, but I wanted to know actually about if she knows about how many actual dollars goes into the city of Port Hueneme's general fund from this big port out here.
How many? Two questions. How many dollars actually go into the what fund?
The general fund for Port Hueneme.
The general fund for Port Hueneme. How many
city,
actual dollars go into the city? And the first part of it was something about.
Well, they have helped out the police department a lot because they have purchased a couple of canine dogs for us actually in the city of Port Hueneme for our police department.
Oh, okay. And just as a point of interest, the harbor, or I guess it's Port Hueneme, the harbor, someone there purchased some canines for the police department. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, happy to do that, apparently. Do you have the answer to the question about the funds?
Okay, the first one is there's a little over $1 million a year through revenue sharing agreements that we have with the city of Port Hueneme. And so it's based upon longstanding agreements that we have with the city of Port Hueneme that were negotiated back in 83 and 87 and 95. So it's based on revenue of what's coming through, the cargo coming through. So it changes slightly every year, but it's around the $1 million range, just in general. The second part is that the port recognizes that we have access to resources and grants and other programs that other agencies or cities in the county may not have access to. And so that could be Homeland Security dollars, it could be, specific Tiger grants, things like that. What we've decided to do, and our priority as a board, is that we want to bring as many agencies into the equation as we can, apply for their money, and then spread it around the county. So, for example, a couple years ago, there was $1.5 million that went to the Port Hueneme Police Department. I think 3 or 4 dogs were purchased for that, because the Port Hueneme Police is the first line of defense for the port. And so if we have some security issue or breach, the city's police department is our first line of defense.
Interesting.
So we believe that we should support them as much as we can and utilize the dogs that we have as well. And then we've incorporated the city of Oxnard, their police and fire department, the county fire and sheriff's department, anybody that we can pull together to support their agency, who in turn supports ours, because we are part of this larger equation here, and so we want all that money to come in the county, be utilized in the county to provide strength and safety.
Outstanding. Thank you for the call. We really very much appreciate that. One more quick question before we talk a little bit briefly about your trip to Taiwan. John, who's here in the studio with his grandmother, good grandson that he is, asks, how about port emissions? Do the ships plug in, or do they run their diesel motors for power?
Very good question,
Yay.
and I'm glad you asked that question. So AB 32 dictated that we reduce the emissions at the port, and so part of our process was that we're establishing a shoreside power project. It's a $13 million project where the vessels will come in and they will plug in and they will get off of their fuel that they're burning, and they'll burn the electricity for the port. So as part of our larger environmental framework, that is but one part of what we're looking at as the port. So we're looking at air quality, soil and sediment issues, energy management, climate change, marine resources, water quality, and then reaching out to the community to articulate what that looks like and how we're going to reduce emissions and how we're going to be good environmental stewards and maintain our economic viability. So what we've done is this shoreside power project, over the course of the lifetime, which we're looking at 30 years as a course of the lifetime, will reduce 92% of the particulate matters, 98% of the NOx, and 55% of the CO2. So
Wow.
this project is going to do all that. So we're very proud of it. It's expensive. We're looking for all the funding for it. And thank the Ventura County Transportation Commission. They just contributed $1.7 million to allow us to finish the project.
Great.
So our collaborators, we appreciate them and the work that they're doing.
Excellent. Thank you for the question.
Good question.
Alrighty. So tell us briefly, back in September 7th to the 14th, you got to go to the Taipei Economic and Culture, Leadership Mission,
Right.
right?
With the World Affairs Council.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
My goodness. I know you were so excited. I saw that on Facebook, and I followed you all the way through your airports and your jet lag and all the pictures you were posting up, and I posted a couple of times, and I was so impressed. I bet you were surprised. Tell us briefly, quickly, because we're coming up on a break,
Okay.
what that was like. Oh my gosh, you just opened up a program that's in Chinese or something.
Well, that's my little scribbling as it goes along with it. But we arrived late Sunday night. Our meeting started at 9 o'clock the next morning, and for the next 6 days, we were on the go, experienced the economic, the government, the cultural, political part of Taiwan. And so there were 10 of us that traveled with the World Affairs Council of America on a leadership mission.
Wow.
And we were able to meet with high-level people within their government and talk to them about issues and struggles that they have and ask questions. They were extremely open with us, very candid with us. We could ask any question that we wanted to, and they provided us with a very genuine answer. So it was something that was amazing. And, we met with their Environmental Protection Agency, with the Ministry of Economic Affairs, both of their major political parties, and just so much of it. So, and when we come back, I'd love to tell you about what was happening politically that played out the whole week we were there.
Well, what we need to do, actually, because we have Elinor Otto on in our second half, is clearly, Mary Anne, bring you back soon, as soon as you want, really.
Okay.
To kind of do a part 2 for us here.
Okay.
Because clearly you could have had the whole show with the amount of information you've got and all the things you've been doing. Because I also know you just met recently had a great meeting concerning immigration. So that's another topic.
Yep.
Lots of things.
But I do want to share with you that pineapple cakes are very important with Taiwan. And so I brought some pineapple cakes today for
yay.
everybody.
All right,
this is a
then.
very traditional treat in
Pineapple
Taiwan.
cake?
And a little bit
you
different
can save it.
consistency, but they're really very great.
Pineapple cake?
But they are very gracious people, and I did bring a little gift for you
golly.
too.
Aren't you the
So just a
sweetheart?
little
Oh,
reminder
my
of
gosh.
Taiwan. So
What a pleasure to have. We'll save one for Journey.
there you go.
Who
Thank
is
you.
filming the show, so we're going to have this up on YouTube if you'd like.
Awesome, thank you.
This portion of your show. We'll split it and keep it separate, and you can use it as you wish.
Thank you.
Again, thank you, and feel free to chime in the second half if you have a question for Elinor Otto. Now, at this time in my show, as always, I'm going to break and salute a veteran, and I bet you can guess who that might be today, but we do that with the Shoemakers.
Fell in love with a dancing girl. Fell so hard that it rocked my world. Headed off to a place in Iraq, and that man that she loved never made it back. Take me out on a starry night. Butterfly under
To the
my
heroic
thumb.
men and valiant women in the service of our country can never be repaid. They've earned our undying gratitude, and America will never forget their sacrifices. I dedicate every single show and my military minute to someone who served our armed forces. And today, Elinor Otto, it is you. You're one of the valiant women who served our country. Elinor Otto, if you're just tuning in now, is 94 years old. She's the original, one of the original Rosie The Riveters. Still working at the Long Beach plant, Boeing plant. So thank you so very much for your service, madam.
I'm honored.
Oh, we're
I'm
honored.
very honored, and I'm grateful that I have the health to be able to do that, because I have friends younger than me that can't get around too good or drive or anything, especially work. And I'm just so grateful all the time that this can happen to me, because I do the things I've always done. I'm used to it, and now getting all this attention is amazing to me. But
And you're the cutest thing on earth. She's got Lucille Ball red hair, curly, great big huge blue eyes, rosy cheeks, pink lipstick. She's in perfect shape. She's got a really hot purple leather jacket on, tight blue jeans, and what are the shoes? Some pretty snazzy shoes. I tell you, run circles around us. And I read somewhere that you've never smoked, never drank, and never gained weight. And you
right.
attribute that to your health today, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, but
yes.
we'll get around to your diet because I understand your diet's a little odd, but that's coming up later. Right now, I want to tell you that the minute is brought to you by Gold Coast Acura, where I bought my wonderful little RDX. I want you to go down there to Gold Coast Acura in our auto mall and call 805-642-3600. Ask for Ron Garcia. These guys really know what they're doing down there. Before you decide on a car, make sure you go drive some of the new 2014 cars. I rode around in the MDX yesterday. Outstanding automobile. But I love my RDX. I had it serviced, and I got a tour of the body shop, and they do everything there, absolutely everything. Gold Coast Acura, thank you very much for underwriting the Military Minute. Also, we've got the Veterans Day thing coming up. The public's invited to the Veterans Day Memorial event on Monday at 11 o'clock at the County of Ventura Government Center. The City of Ventura, in partnership with the Veterans of Foreign Wars and the Vietnam Veterans of Ventura County, will hold a Veterans Day Memorial event at the County Government Center right there at the corner of Victoria Avenue and Telephone Road. There'll be a color guard and a groundbreaking ceremony for the 5 new flagpoles that we're going to be installing, representing each branch of the military. Now that will be completed right around Pearl Harbor Day, where we'll have the final celebration. Free parking's available in the Government Center parking lot, and we made a deal with the Ventura County Credit Union parking lot across the street at 6026 Telephone Road. So vets, public, everyone, come on out. There'll be some chairs. You might want to bring your own chairs. It'll be a wonderful, wonderful event. Lots of speakers. I'll be there too. Come on down Monday, 11 o'clock. Help us celebrate these wonderful, wonderful people that have always served our country. Tuesday, the very next day at the Comedy Club, come and fiddle around with Phil Salazar. Focus on the Masters. We'll have Phil Salazar there, and he'll be playing anything from jazz to bluegrass. Okay, that's at the Comedy Club, Spinnaker Drive, 6 o'clock. Okay, so back to the Lyn Fairly and Friends Show. If you're just tuning in, I want you to know that we have a real treat today. Elinor Otto is my guest. She's from the Long Beach area, but I want to read you something about Rosie the Riveter. And Spence, did you find a song having to do? Did you find the famous Rosie the Riveter song?
I have something that's very close to that.
All right, let's hear it.
Rosie the Riveter, and let's roll.
Let's hear it.
She's a part of the assembly line. She's making history, working for victory. Rosie the Riveter keeps a sharp lookout for sabotage. Sitting up there on the fuselage, that little Fred can do more than a man can do. Rosie.
I had that on a 78 record.
You have that on a
phonograph.
78 record with a phonograph that you'd have to wind up. It seems like on the days that you didn't feel like going in, you and the girls would put this song on by the Four Vagabonds on the 78 phonograph. They'd sing and bop along to the music to get themselves motivated and out the door to go to work.
Exactly.
Remember the lyrics?
Some of it.
All
not
the
too
day
much.
long.
All the day long, whether rain or shine, it's a part of the assembly line. Do-do-do-do-do.
She's making history, working for victory. Rosie. Brrr.
Rosie has a boyfriend, Charlie. Charlie, he's a Marine. Charlie is working for, I can't remember.
Charlie's working to get your phone number. There's a little part in here that said that the men were not supposed to be sort of fraternizing with the ladies, and so they would leave you their phone numbers in the phone booth outside, right? If you use the phone booth to call your mom at the lunch break or something, and there was a note from Charlie.
Yeah, because they thought they were distracting us from our work, because they'd come over and talk to us and everything, and so we were being distracted, so they had the bosses try to do something, separate us.
Yeah, well, then you ended up in the phone booth. Did you ever meet a guy in the phone booth, Rosie?
You heard of a phone booth?
Yeah, I heard of one. I
You
actually
people-
know what one looks like.
you
I
young
miss it.
people here with a
Frankly,
phone
I
booth?
miss it.
They don't have many more. Of course, we didn't have phones. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have seat belts. We didn't have computers.
A lot of things. You weren't having to lock
And
your doors.
everybody said, "What'd you do?" We socialized.
Yes,
We
yes. There's the
socialized
key.
to
There's
people's
also the
houses,
key to
dinners, parties,
longevity.
and kept busy that way. And so I think that's changed.
Oh, too much so.
A lot
It's
of people have to
changed.
go home. Oh, I got to watch this program. Oh, I'm on my computer, and the little kids playing games on the sets instead of running around playing tag and doing physical things that we used to do as kids, play hide and seek and whatever it takes to be physical. But now they're sitting here
Yeah, well,
playing
we've
games.
got one of those toddlers in the room. He's 19 and he's filming the show. His name is Journey. And when she saw Journey in the waiting room, she said, "How old is that child?" Even though he's about 6 feet tall.
I know. It reminds me of trick or treating. These kids came, they were college kids, big kids. We felt like giving them a beer instead of candy. I never saw these big trick-or-treaters.
Never saw such a big trick or treater. Now, did you ask him to do a trick?
Give them a little candy anyway. They had bags this big. I guess they wanted it filled up. I don't know what they wanted in there.
Well, Rosie the Riveter, according to the Smithsonian Institution, they have something that they have a huge, actually a beautiful. I don't know if you've been there, Washington D.C., but the Smithsonian Museum has a huge section devoted to Rosie the Riveter. And I was there in May of this year, and I picked this up not knowing that I'd be able to interview you about 6 months later. It says, World War II profoundly changed the role and status of women in the United States. As the military's need of manpower increased, so did the industry's need for woman power. From
Yes.
1940 to 1944, over 6 million women joined the workforce, filling jobs that had been exclusively male. Despite initial concerns, by World War II's end, women had proven to be a formidable, invaluable force in the war effort. The "We Can Do It" poster, created in 1943 by J. Howard Miller, encouraged women entering the workforce. 1942's Rosie the Riveter, a popular home front song, the one you just heard, and Spence's played on the way out also, became a nickname for women in the war workforce. These Rosies, like Elinor Otto, who is sitting right here, included Rose Bonavita, who drove a record 3,345 rivets into a torpedo bomber in 1943. You know how many rivets you drove? Close to
Never
that,
counted
I
'em.
imagine. Close to that. I
Never.
understand you were really fast, too, that you would be jumping up and down and making other people laugh at how fast you could rivet. You said
Yeah, they did.
quickly moving
Made fun of me.
Yeah, and they said that you said the key was moving your hands and stomping your feet.
Sort of. I had rhythm in my brain all the time, even when I was working, Because when I learned to type in school, we learned to type by music. And I've always been learning to type and do different things with musical. It makes you faster, I think.
I think so too.
Because I'm still doing it at my age. They're still telling me, you're working too fast, or whatever.
Oh my word! So okay,
Yeah, they do.
talk to us a little bit. Well, let's before we find out what your day is, your work day is currently at 94, still riveting. Thank you very much. Let's go back a little bit. You said Pearl Harbor changed everything.
Oh,
So
yes.
let's have a little bit of a background before we get to your present day work. Tell us a bit about what happened after Pearl Harbor and how you got the job.
Well, they advertised for women, women hadn't been used to working, so a lot of us went over there and got hired right away as the men left for war. And the men
Well,
were
what motivated you? What motivated you personally? Did you have a bunch of girlfriends
motivated
that
me
said,
to
hey,
keep busy and for the war effort. We knew we were doing something great, We didn't know how great it was till now, but we knew we were doing something and helping. We just ignored some of the men for a while, until they got used to us. Because they thought, I don't want women here. We can't take our shirt off. We can't do this. We can't do that, But later on, they became very friendly, and a lot of them got married. People got married, But going to work every day was just a wonderful thing because we felt like we was accomplishing something that women hadn't accomplished before.
Well, I have a letter here that you wrote yourself, actually. Said that since Pearl Harbor changed everything, Suddenly you were needed and appreciated as never before.
That's right.
Such a challenge to do men's work for the first time. We worked hard and proved ourselves as we knew we could. Working and raising children, because you also had that to do as well as work, was difficult.
Yes.
But as women, we learned we could do it, and we did. 1945 brought us great history as the war was over. What happened when the war? You were released from your job, right?
Yes, they let
You
us
had
out.
no regrets, but what did you go and do? Do you remember?
They had other jobs,
Office work,
the office work.
car hopping, and I think you said as soon as they introduced roller skates to car hopping,
That was in.
You were done. You were in.
That
or-
was it.
You were in, or you were out.
No more roller skating,
more roller
serving
skating
food on
for you.
trays.
Yeah, forget
No,
that.
no.
Crap.
I would have broke my neck.
Good thing you didn't. And then you found work at Ryan Air, the small plant that built the Spirit of St. Louis for Charles Lindbergh. You
Yes.
stayed there from 1951 to 1964.
Yes.
And then they stopped building airplanes, and again, you were laid off. But after about 10 months, a friend in Long Beach called to say that the Douglas aircraft was hiring women for the first time, right?
Yes.
And then what happened? What'd you do?
Well, we went up there and got hired in right away. It was 8 o'clock in the morning, employment, and 7 of us drove up there. And being that we had worked at Ryan, they knew it was a small plant, and they knew you had to work hard in that small plant to make it. So they all hired us right away and promised me 10 years of work. I have been there 48 years.
And still going, everybody.
Still going.
Still going. There, she has a little quote here that says, "When I go to heaven, I hope God keeps me busy." And her grandson, who's here, also told me that she gave me all kinds of isms, what he calls, grandma-isms. And I'm going to get to them in just a second. But I think I asked him, well, what would she do if the plant were to close? Now, the Boeing plant may or may not close. There was some news there in Long Beach that after 75 years they're going to close the Boeing plant.
That's
but
very current.
it may not.
That's
it
right.
absolutely may not. But at the time we thought it might close, and he said, John Perry said, well, she said when she retires she's going to go help old people. She's 94. Very, very funny. So at the end of the war, you did some car hopping and you worked for Brian, and you went back to Boeing. And then in their heyday, Otto says that you said that the C-17 plant was fully staffed with a parking lot so big that workers had to put flags on their cars to find them in a sea of vehicles.
Yes.
Is that what kind of car were you driving?
It was a long one.
A long
In those
one.
days,
Did it have fins on the end?
and it was, I forgot.
You were driving your green Buick.
A green Buick. A green Buick. That was John's voice in the background. John, do you want to say something? You can just
You were
move.
too young to remember that, I think.
No, you drove the green Buick with the white top.
Oh, okay.
Now, John's been really amazing. John, her grandson, John Perry, has really taken up the torch here and decided that he wants his grandmother to go down in history for many reasons, actually. But, John, I have to commend all you've done because you've taken your grandmother all over California and many other places. And I wanted to know, do you know about the park that's dedicated to the National Historical Park, Rosie The Riveter World War II Homefront National Park in the United States, located in Richmond, California. Preserves and interprets the legacy of the United States home front during World War II, including the shipyards, the Richmond shipyards, the Victory Ship, Red Oak Victory, a tank factory, housing developments, and other facilities built to support. They have a huge Rosie the Riveter exhibit there. Did you know that?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
I was there
aware
when
of
they
the
opened
one
You
in
were.
Long Beach
the Rosie River Park in
Figures.
Long
Long
Beach.
Beach.
That
In Long
figures.
Beach. Yeah, we weren't there.
with Jerry Shipsky.
Jerry used to be the councilwoman. She opened it, and it was
Oh,
right by
yes,
the
I
plant.
saw those pictures of you. Yes, yes,
But we
I saw
have
that.
been invited to
Mm-hmm.
this park.
Doesn't
in
it look
Richmond, Virginia.
Well, I printed that up for you right
It's
there.
beautiful.
So you may have that.
Thank you, ma'am.
And we was a bunch of us Rosies were in a Veterans Day parade a few years ago, and it was so nice. We put us in an old fire truck, and said Rosie the Riveters, And as we was driving, going down there, people were waving and yelling at it. It was so much fun, and we were my arms gave out almost. You had to keep waving. It was so much fun.
How
Yeah.
many Rosie the Riveters or Rosies are left, you think?
There's a lot of them. Because
Really?
on my birthday, my surprise birthday party, in my home, they called from Michigan. Warren was there, the head of the
Washington, Michigan.
Oh, they call me.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, they're wishing
Oklahoma.
me. There's quite a few of us. None of them are working.
But
I
you
guess
are?
that's why
I bet you're the only one that's still working.
Yes.
All right, tell us what that's like. It says you're out of bed at 4 a.m. to get coffee, and then you're still driving, and you get the newspaper, and you drive to work. After that, what do you do?
After work?
Well, no, you're pulling into the parking lot.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is the
that-
beginning of your day. Okay, tell us about what your average day is like next Tuesday when the plant's open.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just go into work and sit there and read the paper, and then we have a 6 o'clock meeting, and then we get on the computer and decide the number of our jobs. We have to put it on all the numbers on the computer. That's the only thing I know about the computer, selling my jobs. I have to sell them. I have to learn that. So then we decide what we're going to do, and I just work all day. And we
Doing
have,
what exactly? Do you rivet still?
Oh, yeah. Drill, real thick material, and drill and get all the holes ready. Drill, and then have an inspector check the holes, and then you put fasteners in them, different sizes. And if you put a bigger size in, and you need a bigger gun. Sometimes the guy didn't think I'd get it, but I went and got this big gun, and I could do it, and I did it.
Well, you know what, Journey, he's filming this for us. This is also going to be up on YouTube. We hope what we can do is come and film one of your work days down there and film the plant, particularly if it is going to close, regardless if it's going to close.
Yeah.
We hope to come down and film you actually working.
They've done that.
Well, we're going to do it too.
You're gonna do it too? France tried to do it.
Did they?
But they didn't let them because they thought they were spies or something. But they
How
said
funny.
that people retire in France at 62. It's mandatory.
Lazy.
And so they want to prove this is life after 62 with me working, and they want to take pictures of me working. So they got so tired of them calling, they're going to take a video of me working and just give it to them.
That's so funny. It's hilarious. Another thing John said was, as long as her eyes are open, she's going. She's like
that's
the
the truth.
I think they invented the Energizer Rabbit commercial after you.
Absolutely.
Get a little closer to the microphone. Share with us some of these really funny little isms that you told me. One of them is, oh, to be 70. Okay?
Well, yeah, anybody younger than me ought to be that, 70, 80. If I was 80, it'd be great.
But what would be the difference between 80 and now? Do you just would just be, I don't know, running a marathon? Something like that if you were 80? If you
I
have
don't
so much
know.
energy, I can't even
But
believe what it'd be like.
I think, to me, age is not that important. As long as you can do what you do it. Don't say, well, I'm so old, I can't do this, I can't do it. Do it. Doesn't matter what age you are. That's how I live.
Boy. And then if you really like John, tell us what she does. If she's really happy with you, she calls you one thing, but if she's not so happy with you, what does she call you?
Well, if she's not happy with me, I'm you people. Now, if everything's going smoothly, I'm Baby Doll Jr.
Because I used to call my son
'Cause
Baby Doll.
No, baby, he was your baby. So this is Baby Doll Junior here with
Right,
this big.
but the second I leave a dish in the sink and I forget to wash it and put it in, I'm you people.
Also, we have talk about your diet now. We have a really unusual diet. John told me that your favorite food are the nastiest wieners.
Not
the
anymore.
Most awful weenies with Swiss cheese.
I gave him up.
That Hebrew National, no way. No
haven't.
way.
I gave up
he says-
weenies.
Well, all right. Well, then tell us that was your favorite food. Oh, we're looking for longevity tips.
I
here.
really like good food when we have
Okay.
time to eat it. But, I pick a lot. Cheese and, well, no weenies anymore. But
Why did you give up your weenies? I don't know.
It's only been 2 weeks.
Oh, all right. I see. Well, maybe she's taking a break from the weenies.
I don't bother what I eat. Just eat a little bit of it, and I like In-N-Out burgers. That's my favorite burger.
Oh, I
Yeah,
relate to
In-N-Out
that.
burger.
Yeah, I'm
Mm-mm.
always driving.
Yeah.
I go in and out all the time. And you said, I will not be that darn healthy.
Be what?
That darn healthy. I guess you were invited to go on a cooking show and you declined because it was just too darn healthy.
Heavy?
The Home and Family Channel, when they invited you and they asked me what you eat, and I told them weenies and cheese, they go, oh, we can't have her on our show.
Oh, really?
Oh, is that what happened?
Because you can't tell 6 million people that you live on weenies and cheese.
I live on good food, too. I do.
All right,
Yeah.
well, what's the best thing you eat besides candy corn Halloween candies? Busted. So busted. That's
Yeah.
why the 2 weeks, weenies 2 weeks, only 2 weeks. That's it. She's been eating candy corn these last 2 weeks.
And ice cream.
Oh, I hope.
I can't live without ice cream.
All right, what flavor?
Any flavor.
Rocky Road.
Pralines
Nice
and
Rocky
cream.
Road. I like the
and
plain
cream.
ones with maybe some kind of special caramel syrup over it.
Not an ounce of fat on her body, folks. This
my
lady's
favorite.
so dynamite. At 94, it's amazing. It's such a pleasure to have you here. What would you like to tell other young women? You saw our harbor commissioner has followed right down that trail you blazed. What would you like to tell other young women in that may be listening, in our listening range, about working and being a patriot, being a peaceful patriot, contributing to our military any way they can do? And we've got Veterans Day coming up, and you're our honored soldier, as it were, for this show. We're dedicating it to you. So I'd like you to have kind of the last word, and then we'll play the Rosie tune again. So give us your best advice.
Well, to keep busy, I have to say that we got one email that said they should put Eleanor's face on all welfare checks.
That's funny.
And there's a lot of people that don't want to work, and if they want to live that way, it's not a good way to live. And you feel so much better about yourself and everybody if you just keep moving and keep working every day, and you're accomplishing something. You're part of the planet instead of just somebody you take and not giving. You know, that's how I feel. And I get letters from young people wanting. They're just so proud of me. When they saw me in the Today Show, they wrote and were so proud, and they want to know what to do, and I'm inspired. They said, you've inspired me. To think I've inspired anybody, it's all worth it.
Oh, that's so sweet. You're very inspiring. I'm inspired. I'm sure our harbor commissioner is extremely
all worth it.
inspired.
Yes.
You'll be able to see this interview on Sojourn Docs, and I'll put links up on our Facebook page. John Perry, you're a champ, taking care of your grandma. I know you sold your house in Tahoe to move down here because she wouldn't change her hair and nail appointment.
That's correct.
She had to go to the same lady, so you had to sell your house and come down and take care of her.
Yes, ma'am. And
You're
I would do
a
it again.
champion.
I am her number
Absolutely.
one fan, and I have a surprise for her.
You do indeed, and what is it?
Grandma, Roar Aircraft got in contact with me and wants you to come back to the Chula Vista plant to meet all of the people that are still alive from your crew.
She didn't know this. This is live right here on the Lyn Fairly Friends Show. She's
They
just
contacted me yesterday and then the day before, and they say that you could come to the Chula Vista plant and get in any darn time you want to.
How about that, Eleanor? We saved that surprise for you today here on the radio show.
Surprise, Grandma. I love you.
She's overwhelmed. She's absolutely overwhelmed. Isn't that exciting? You get to go see the whole crew.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, it is. All right. Real Rosie the Riveter. You've been listening to News Talk 1590 KVTA, the Lyn Fairly and fabulous show. Thank you very much, guests, for coming on. All those horses out there, hold your power, because horse power for an hour is about to come on, and we're going to listen to a little bit more Rosie the Riveter.
All the day long, whether rain or shine, she's a part of the assembly line. She's making history, working for victory. Rosie the Riveter keeps a sharp lookout for sabotage, sitting up there on the fuselage. That little frail can do more than a male can do. Rosie the Riveter. Rosie's got a boyfriend, Charlie. Charlie, he's a Marine. Rosie is protecting Charlie, working overtime on the riveting machine. When they gave her a production knee, she was as proud as a girl could be. There's something true about red, white, and blue about Rosie the Riveter.